Hello and welcome, my friends. This is Jennifer from Mystic Star. I want to thank you guys for joining me today and watching this video. This is going to be my second edition of my tea and crystals session. Today, I'm really excited to be able to interview and sit down and have a chat with a friend of mine. Her name is Kimberly Buckler. I met Kim a number of years ago while we were doing events together. She's an author of 3 books. I've read one of her books. It's absolutely amazing. I appreciated going through and walking with her as she remembered some of her past experiences and working with that universal energy. So today we're going to sit down with Kimberly and we're going to have a chat. And I haven't seen Kim in quite some time because of COVID, and a lot of our events have been shut down. So I can't wait to sit down, talk to her, not only about her 3rd book here, but her first 2 books as well. Okay. Hey, Kim.
Hey,
How are
Jen.
you?
Good. Thank you.
I am so glad that you were able to join me. I have missed you so much. It's been, well, since I think February that I saw you last.
Oh,
I think we were at the same, yeah, it's been
Gypsy
too long.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, way too long. So it's neat to be able to connect this way, isn't it?
Well, it's important not only that we can connect, because we, during different events, can share our energies and we support each other so much that people can see us together, because the events aren't happening like they used to.
No.
No.
Yeah, they're slowly starting up again, and it's an honor to be able to work with you. So thank you very much.
You are very welcome.
This is a blessing. Yeah.
And we've known each other, I can't even say how many years we've been working the same markets, and been booth buddies, neighbors across the hall.
Yeah, I think
it's been a while.
Yeah, it has. It has. It's been an amazing journey because we've met so many people, and like we were saying earlier, we're like family.
Very much so. Very much so.
Family, and to be able to connect and to share what we know with each other and support each other, that's pretty magical.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of people will see us sometimes, like we're right across the way or beside each other, and we do similar things. We're both healers.
Mm-hmm.
We help give guidance and support to people.
Yeah.
And we are technically that we do the same type of things, but we come at it at a different perspective with different energies.
Okay.
And that's what I love about it. It doesn't, you said we were like family, and we are. It's not about, oh, well, we do the same things, so we have to compete. It's more, we do the same things, but Kim has this amazing earthy energy. You know what? I think that's what you need right now. Let's get people the support they need rather than competing.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why I wanted, well, I spoke to you, I think it was a year ago. It was right after your 3rd book came out.
Okay.
And I wanted to review your book. And I was like, but I want more than just to say, you know what, I've read your book, it was great. I wanted that connection and communication. So between you and Ron, who was my first, I guess, guest, the 2 of you kind of helped me make this, formulate in my brain on what it is we needed to do. So I had to have you come in, and I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So Kim is a healer. You use cards. You're an author. You're a teacher. Did I miss anything?
No, I'm just me.
You're Kim. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty magical. Yeah, energy work, Reiki, Akashic records, crystal healing, stuff like that. So it's just beautiful. Just finding all the tools that we can use to help us get from day to day.
Yeah.
And to know that we can make changes. And when we're making changes in our lives, There's no need to be scared. I remember when somebody did energy work on me for the first time, I thought I was going to morph into something and was wondering what's going to happen to me. So I took a few sessions with this lady to realize I'm not going to morph or change into something. And
Was
the energy
reawakening
worked out.
things that needed to be reawakened.
You got her. Yeah, big
So,
time. Big
so
time.
yeah, that's
Yes.
fantastic. So
Yes.
you've written 3 books now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I know
Yeah.
that I've read the 3rd book and I loved it. And I won't lie, I haven't read the first 2. I adored the section when you were talking about your work with different property clearings and working with your clients, because I could see in my mind's eye, I was there watching in a video, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, because I
Oh,
could
wow.
connect in with it. It was so amazing that way. I
Oh,
absolutely love it
thank
when
you
I
for
can
that.
read other
Mm.
practitioners' experiences, because they are crazy, they are wonderful, they are powerful.
And yet we're sane. Totally sane.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. And yeah, and it's amazing how, with those house clearings, the things that pop up that we have no idea that's there.
No.
And it's magical. And I know you connect really well with the dragons. And I started to more about, I think it was around 2016 in there. I can't remember. And the fairies and the angels. And it's amazing because when I first got into this, I first started connecting with the angels. And
Mm-hmm.
I always remember my dad telling me when I was a little girl that I had the angels are here with me, but didn't realize it. And then the fairies came in, and then the totem animals came in, and the dragons came in. So it's wild how we can make changes energetically, physically, emotionally, spiritually in our home, in the lands, with all these beautiful energies that are there waiting for us to work with. And they're
Yeah.
by our side the whole time.
I know people who feel alone
Mm-hmm.
are so caught up in their own gunk that they're
Mm-hmm.
not pausing. Because when you start to really feel and let yourself be open to what's around you, you realize how supported you actually are.
Oh, big
And
time.
right, like, and if you are feeling alone, that's exactly when I start to call and going, okay, who's not here, who should be here?
Right on.
Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you always have your guardian, he or she is stupid hard to feel, because she's been with you since you were conceived,
Yeah.
right? And then you have your guides, and like you said, the fairies can come in, other angels, spirit animals, up, like it can be like a zoo, dragons, and if you're like my daughter, she has a herd of unicorns that periodically just hang out with her.
Oh, right
um,
on.
so yeah, it's about that openness
Yeah.
to
And
everything
that
that's there.
and I think that's why I got into writing. It was more trying to share how we can make these changes. The Essence of Who We Are was my
Yes.
first book, and that wasn't meant to be my first book. Essentials for Natural Healing was the book that I thought I'd write years ago. And
Yep.
the reason behind the Essential for Natural Healing, because it's all about the food, the herbs, the oils, all those things that can help our bodies out. So
Mm-hmm.
first I needed to learn how to look after my body with the food and the vitamins and minerals, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a big book. But when I wrote The Essence of Who We Are, the
Yeah.
reason behind this book, and I was a little nervous at first, but then remembered all the amazing authors out there, was to help us understand how sensitive we are and that we're empaths, and that the things that we're told as children, some of that is lies. And it's okay to see the other worlds and the other realms, and some of the things that held us back, and it also shares in there about a bit about learning how to set boundaries and to do cord cutting in that, and that's really really important for us. Is that setting boundaries, being into the heart, unconditional love, staying away from that judgment, seeing spirits. No, I'm not crazy. I'm happy, but I'm not crazy. And seeing spirits and stuff like that is for real. And we've been able to do that from day one. But unfortunately, with some upbringing and beliefs that parents had, they said, no, you don't tell anyone you see spirits. Don't tell anyone you talk to things because they think you're crazy.
Don't tell them you're dancing with the fairies when that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, you got her. And there's nothing wrong with that because you're in such a beautiful, happy place and you can feel that in your heart. And then for people to come along and squish those dreams or those things, and it has caused a lot of havoc on humans.
Yep.
And then what I found, I don't know, you probably found the same thing too, is that it comes to a point in our life, if we don't start to open up, then we really start to get sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when you start to really feel it.
Yeah. And that's when we really get a kick in the butt and saying, hey, you know what, it's time for us to find more answers and solutions to what's going on in our life.
Yeah.
And with people like you, Jennifer, the healers, we have so many more options now, and it doesn't matter what we do, whether we're Reiki or craniosacral therapy, healing touch, readings, whatever. All these beautiful modalities that we have access to can make huge changes in people's lives.
Well, and the greatest thing about right now is that we're not stuck in one modality.
No.
Because before you were literally, you had to stay in that one modality because your communities and your supports or your teachers were like, no, you can't mix things. Now we're mixing, we're matching, we're creating these amazing mosaics of different cultures, of different beings, and we're putting them all together and saying, let's make this work for us.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's where you come to that multi-dimensional healing.
Yeah, most definitely.
So you go from the different realms, but also in that multi-dimensional healing, you also have access to the herbs on the earth or the crystals on the earth. And say one day, you're having a tough time, and then just say, hey, Jennifer, don't forget the selenite's with you. You're a killer. It's with you. It's within you.
Yeah.
Open that door up, access it again.
Yeah.
And we could access the caves if we want to, right? It's like with a energy medicine, bringing in the herbs. And my spirit guide brought in toad medicine for a client one day. And I go, oh, wow. So we can bring in the essence of those medicines, the herbs and all that into the healing work without having it physically there.
Yep. We're tapping into things that we've done generations and lifetimes ago.
Yeah.
That it's in our DNA, whether it be from that physical DNA, our spiritual DNA, or that astral DNA. It's all intertwined in us.
Yeah.
And we just need to relax.
and allow. Yeah. Relax and allow and have fun.
Right? It's amazing when we start to be able to literally just take that deep breath and say, okay, you're right, I did dance with fairies. I swam with the mermaids. I ran wild in the fields with the dragons or the unicorns or whoever it was.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. And it's amazing. And what is really sweet, what I really love is that when we have the opportunity, say you and I, or us and Ron, or someone else, and we can share these stories, and they go, oh my God, you just gave me confirmation for something, or affirmation. And we have each other for that support, and people that'll listen and hear.
Yeah. We're
And
not crazy.
no, no, absolutely not. And that's what I find really magical, is that is learning to be comfortable talking about things and not worrying about it, and not worrying about being judged.
Yeah.
I
And
believe in. Go ahead.
I was going to say, before we started this video, you and I chatted about how we miss the family
Yeah.
of healers and light workers. And it's in that family, in that connection, that we are able to really grow. We inspire each other, whether that be through connections on the professional level, on the friendships levels. It inspires and moves us forward.
It
because
does.
we can, well, we connect on so many different levels.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And reminding each other to have that faith and that trust, that if your heart pulled you in this direction, that there's a reason for it. And I look at the healing work as my heart song,
Yeah.
because when I'm doing that, oh man, it feels so good to be in those energy fields. It feels really, really good.
Yeah.
It's not too often I'm shaken anymore. And I remember the first time I met my dragon, and I had gone to a workshop years ago, and it was about dragons, and nothing seemed to click. And the first time I went overseas, I asked my dragon to be there, even though I didn't know who he was. And I went to a market. It was at a medieval market in Cochrane, and talking to this guy at a booth, and he was on the other side, and I'm looking at him, and I go, in my mind, I go, I know you. I haven't met you yet, but I know you. And then all of a sudden I felt this swoosh go out, like this big, huge energy go out in front of me. And there's this big, huge red dragon. And he had the old man tentacles, so I knew he was an old boy. Jennifer, it took me about 3 days to anchor that in and to remember, because I forget, then I remember, I forget, then I remember. And hope he was pissed at something when he came in. So it must have been a past life thing. But it was just magical when we see that. And I wasn't scared at all. It was just because his energy was so strong and so powerful. It took me 2-3 days to remember that.
Yep.
And I'll never forget that. And I've had some little ones come in since then. So
they'll continue to come in, right?
oh, yeah.
That's the fantastic thing.
Yeah.
Especially as we raise our vibration, and as a global, we continue to see that vibration rise as a whole.
Yeah.
They're more inclined to come back. Many of them left because it had gotten so dark, and they couldn't help us anymore. Our vibration was too low.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then I found over this last few months, with the mess we've gone through, I found it was really hard for me to connect with the fairies and stuff like that. But everything's healing, clearing up again, and the energy's coming back. But what's really interesting, though, is what I find the reason that people come forward to see someone like you and someone like me is that they're looking for answers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking for answers to why is this happening in my life, or what's going on with my body, or the doctors don't have an answer. Do you have an answer?
Yeah.
And one client, she was so sick, doctors had no answer, problems with her legs and everything. And during a session, working on her, I'd seen a science lab. And then I said to her, is there Bunsen burners in your lab? Those things are old. And she goes, oh yeah, they're all turned off though. And then at the end of the session, I said, please be careful. watch out for something. Just be aware when you're in the room. So a week later, I got a call from her, and they found a leaky Bunsen burner, a burner
Mm.
that'd been leaking for months and months and months in that classroom where that lady was teaching.
Yeah.
So she finally got her answer, and other students were getting sick. So what is really magical is not all, it's in my Reiki book, not all knowledge is taught in the same school. But when you combine the practices and you go outside the box and say, hey, Jennifer, I'm lost. Or Kim, I'm
Mhm.
lost. What do I do next? We're open to those possibilities. And a lot of times those answers come out and we
Yeah.
can find them for them.
Yep.
And it's really neat when it works that way.
Well, and sometimes the answers, and this really annoys some of my clients, it's part of their journey to gain that answer.
Yeah.
It's not for me to tell them about that answer, right?
Yeah.
It's more about their discovery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just there to kind of coax and make sure that they are, well, strong and able to be open to that information.
Yeah.
Because we can't always just give them that answer.
No.
Something
No.
that they need to strive for.
Yeah. Yeah. And understanding the lessons and the experiences that we need to have in this lifetime to also help heal past lifetimes. So I do believe in past lifetimes where there's a lot of trauma that's happened, and sometimes we carry that forward. And when we can help break the chains from relationships or chains that parents have carried on from lifetime to lifetime. Um, and for people to understand the forgiveness for themselves and forgiveness for other people around them that were involved in the events in their lives that caused trauma, right? It's
Yep.
huge. And self-love is huge.
Yep.
And there's so many people that can't look in that mirror in the morning and say, hey, you know what, Kimmy, I really love you. You know, if I were to do that for myself, people can't do that for themselves because yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard because we evolve and we age. We may have loved ourselves at 20, and then as you go through those different stages of life and your body changes, and it can be really hard to keep up with that evolution.
Yeah.
And like you said, that forgiveness for past events, past situations, or lack of participation in different
Mm-hmm.
situations.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times we and the understanding too of how, say, if we had a parent that was involved in a trauma in our life, to remember what did that parent go through? What did the grandparent go through? And you go back through the generations and how things were repeated. And if we can go and go, oh, Mom, I am so sorry this happened, and forgiveness for both yourself and the mother, or father, it makes a huge difference in our lives.
Yeah.
It does. And sometimes you go, why should I forgive someone for harming me? And it's really powerful, and I share it's really powerful on the soul level for both parties, right?
Yeah.
It does make a huge difference.
Well, and that, well, and you talked about it earlier, those ties and tethers,
Yeah.
it just drains you. That hurt, that fear, those low vibrations, they drag you down. And it does come up in that physical body in pains that can't be explained by medicine.
Yeah, you have it.
Right?
Yeah.
I know that more and more people are working with Archangel Zadkiel because he is the angel of forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And working with self and self-forgiveness on its own is years of stuff to do because you have to heal from that. You have to
Yes.
forgive you for what you may or may not have done.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's about looking at and using those critical thinking skills to see where the perpetrator or the person that wronged you or
Mhm.
hurt you, where they're coming from.
Yeah, and the compassion for that. I know a big part of me says a lot of actions and things that happen are not acceptable.
Yes.
Yet at the same time, to go back into that heart space and go, oh man, I pray for the best for that person, no matter who they are, what they're doing. I pray that they find their answers and find their way to healing themselves on a soul level. It makes a huge difference. I
Yeah.
think another magical moment was I had an amazing lady on the table, did a Reiki session, and you could see in her eyes, you could see the depression. And then at the end, she sat up on the table, and again, her eyes looked empty, like she was depressed.
Yeah.
And I looked at her. I could get zapped. I looked at her, and I said, "Sweetheart, I was working with your heart. I was looking up your soul line, and the love and the beauty that I saw in that heart of yours along that soul line is so powerful." I had tears running down my face. Within seconds after saying that, her eyes were lit up right up. She had the biggest smile on her face. It was so beautiful. That's all she needed to hear.
Yep.
That's all she needed to hear. And it was so magical, those sweet, kind words and the honesty and the truth of what I saw just woke her right up again. And it was gorgeous. It was a huge blessing.
It's amazing. We work with so many dynamic people,
Yeah,
and they impact us just as much as we impact them,
big
because
time.
we are able to see those miraculous changes, those shifts, and knowing that that person is going to be better for their choices. They're going to make differences not only in their lives, but in the lives around them. It's a
Yes,
fantastic experience.
it is. It is. And to watch people go forward and to be able to live life better and be more creative and
Okay, so we're back recording.
all right.
Okay, sorry guys, we had a bit of a technical issue here, but Kim, you were saying something about, and it was, I can't even remember what you were saying because I couldn't hear you.
That's okay. It's like walking through a door and forget what you're looking for.
Right? I do that all the time too. I go
Yeah,
upstairs and I have no idea what I went upstairs for.
yeah. Oh Lord. So, oh,
What you were
um,
saying?
I still can't remember, but what I find is that I'm really grateful that we can feel safe in this lifetime. We can share what we're learning. Um, we can help people go forward in their growth too. And as we're learning, we're also healing ourselves within.
Yeah.
And it brings people forward looking for others that can share information on how they can go forward themselves and make it. I remember one guy coming to store I was looking in working at. It was a crystal store, and he's looking around the store, and all of a sudden I stopped. I got this weirdest gut feeling that you have so many questions you don't know where to start. And
Mm-hmm.
kaboom, he chatted and chatted and chatted and chatted. So
Yeah.
it's nice that we have people that we can reach out to. When I started this in 2020, there's very little people that I could talk to. So I learned a lot of this on my own and
Mm-hmm.
working with spirit and asking questions with spirit, God, creator, whoever we work with, spirit guides, angels, and getting the answers I needed.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because those answers were affirmations for other people, some things they were going through without understanding what they were going through.
Yeah. So you
So
said you
it's,
started in 2020. When did you start your
or
journey?
sorry, I'm sorry, year 2000. My gosh.
I was gonna say, Kim, I know you've been doing this more than 6 months, so if not having 3 books out, that's amazing. Yeah.
Oh man, year 2000. So that was 20 years ago. And
Yeah.
there was very few people in town that were involved in this. And I'm really grateful for the lady that got me connected to the energy work.
Yeah.
But now we have so many people, 20 years later, so many people that are out there for us. And
Well, I remember looking I stumbled across my first tarot deck in the early 90s.
oh,
And
wow.
you couldn't find cards, right? There
Yeah.
was very few metaphysical stores,
Yeah.
and they were usually combined with a lot of other less than desirable pieces.
I hear you.
And so, it's amazing how in 20, 25 years, you're looking at such a growth in the industry and
Mm-hmm.
the normalization of things,
Yeah.
right? We are able to do what we love to do and support the people that need help when they
Mm-hmm.
need it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's good. It's a neat feeling.
So we know we've done 3 books, and I
Mm-hmm.
know because I'm hearing from the great support system that number 4 is coming.
It's still a blank. Thank you, sweetheart. It's still a blank. And I've been wondering because I've been told that before, but
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And it's
Okay. So I was
wild
just
because,
wondering if you had gotten the information. Like I knew that you knew you have a 4th book coming, but I was just wondering if you had the ideas yet, because I can't wait.
yeah, all right, what a sweetheart. No ideas yet at all. And it was kind of interesting how all 3 books were done in a 4-year period. So 15, 17, and 19 in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
So all 2 years apart. So I have no idea what the next one's about.
It'll come to you. I know it
Yeah,
will.
it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And yeah, I'm just, I, when I go back, when I think about the last 6 months we've gone through with this mess and planet Earth, and I think it's also a big opportunity for people learning to reconnect with the Earth
Yeah.
too. A lot of the people had to stay at home with the children to homeschool them. They were doing a lot more baking, a lot more cooking. I seen more families out biking, going for walks, getting outside. The gardening, people getting out and growing their stuff again.
Yep.
And that's what we need. And the yard I had, and I'm manifesting the same yard again. I had herbs and huge Saskatoon trees, raspberry tree bushes. I had so much growing in there that in the fall time, my pantry was loaded with jars of canning, or the freezer with berries and pies, or the cupboards with all the herbs dried out. And all that food is so important for our bodies that people have forgotten about it. And then when
Yep.
you grow it from your own gardens, you're not putting the pesticides and all the other garbage on there. And it's
Yep.
been tended by the love in your heart. So the energy behind that food is a lot stronger than if we
Yep.
were transporting it in. Yeah.
And I think you nailed it on the head. A lot of us were going for that fast, easy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about that slowing down. It's a message I keep telling people. You need to slow down. You need to be open to this. Part of that being open to it is also slowing down and being mindful of what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
where we're getting our stuff from, and putting that energy back where we need to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think Mother Earth has so much so much here for us. And no matter where you go, there's medicine growing. You go past a
Mhm.
juniper bush, and they're loaded with berries, the green berries. Example are the first year berries, the purple berries, the second year berries. Those berries are pretty powerful for cleaning out your liver. So the second berries, I'm sure it's in my book somewhere, but those berries are amazing.
Yep.
And they're used as medicine. Rose hips grow everywhere. Those rose hips are loaded with vitamin C.
Yep.
And I remember
Dandelions.
yeah,
They're everywhere and people try and get rid of them. And I'm like, why? You
yeah,
can use the leaves, the flowers, the roots.
yeah. And the
Yeah.
roots are good for cleansing your liver. The roots are also good for after surgery, and you've been the anesthetic. Help clear that out of your liver. Red clover. So there's so many natural medicines out there that are really powerful that people have forgotten about.
Yep.
And we need to remember that again. It's not all in the drugstore.
Mhm.
Well, drugstores are actually carrying herbs and stuff like that now, and vitamins and minerals. So that is a bonus in itself. But if we can grow
But
our own, oh
and it's not down to fully the pharmaceuticals. People have a headache and they tend to grab an Advil or a Tylenol,
mm-hmm.
whereas a glass of water or a cup of tea is going to actually help clear out that headache because you're dehydrated.
That's right.
Or
That's right.
it's a stress headache. And, there's so many things that we can do and try it first before we step into that medication realm.
Yeah, yeah. And I fully believe that. And over the last year, my body's gone through quite a bit of chaos. And yeah, I have to, there's days I take that Advil Tylenol, but I've tried out some pretty neat stuff. And it was at the very end where I had to say, okay, I need a little bit more help in order to go to work every day. But like you said, when you go to that tea in the evening with your lemon juice and your grated ginger and maybe a bit of cinnamon in there, that's good for your liver, and it's good for inflammation.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that it's not that I'm saying anti-medication, but we can go to the teas, we can go to the herbs, the medicines.
Yeah.
I use my rollers all the time, right? They have the
Yeah.
essential oils and Reiki in them. And then it helps with healing you on different levels. So if it's a stress headache or a tension headache, you're more likely to be able to get rid of it with some, well, there's usually lavender. There's all sorts of things that I put in
Yeah. Yeah.
that you can try that first.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't work. Well, you still have the option to go in and say, you know what, I think I do need that Tylenol, or I do need that
Yeah.
extra step up.
Yeah.
And it just gives us more tools in our toolbox for dealing with the pains, the different challenges that we're dealing with.
That's right. That's right. And that's what really got me into the herbs too, or the vitamins and minerals, is going through a spree of depression and going to the doctor and saying something to him, and he gave me a antidepressant. And I purchased it and I took it to work, and I looked at the bottle. I go, I'm not touching that. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
touching that stuff. And I went back to the drugstore and I was directed towards the B50 complex, where the vitamins, where my body was depleting all the vitamins, the B vitamins, because of the stress, with the
Yep.
vitamins that help to replenish it and helps out with depression, stress, and so many other things. So again, if you can try that before going to drastic methods, that is pretty magical. And to this day, I'll still use them when I need them. If I don't take them all.
Well, and even vitamin D,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that also impacts with the depression.
Yeah.
Especially people, like, we live up in Canada and we get sun, like we're blessed with sun today.
Mm-hmm.
In 10 minutes, it could be snowing up here.
Yeah.
And we have no sun.
Yeah, that's true.
It was snowing on the weekend and I was like, really? Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. But that's true, that vitamin D helps out. And also for this silly virus that's going through, if people remind themselves to keep up their immune system and not to be in the fear is the biggest part, is not to be in fear. And to keep up the immune system with what we use here is vitamin C and the zinc. So I got a zinc, I think it was 25 milligrams, but so vitamin C and zinc, and those are really good for keeping your immune system. The stronger your immune system is, the less chance of you carrying a virus
Or
or
if you
catching a
should
virus.
happen to get it, you're going to be able to fight it a lot faster.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And
Yep. And that's amazing support for people, because people are fearful right now.
Yeah.
And I know that in a lot of my recent videos, I'm encouraging people to stay in that high vibration, because when we're in that high vibration, we're able to, like you said, manifest. We're able to bring in what we really need, rather than kind of sit and in a fear-based space.
That's right. That's right. I keep in my mind where I want to be in the near future, and that keeps my spirits up and my hopes up, and keeps me out of fear. And knowing that I eat properly, I eat really good food, healthy food. And yes, chocolate is good for you because it's got iron in it.
Well, it also has antioxidants, and it releases hormones in your brain, so you have those endorphins. Yeah. So there is a lot of what we think would be something more, I guess, not good for us. Whereas milk chocolate isn't going to be as good as, say, like a dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But to have, some milk, cocoa powder, and honey, you warm that up, you have a beautiful glass of hot cocoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can take that at nighttime, and you just feel so good. It feels like this energetic, warm hug within you. Yeah. And sleep happens quite quickly.
Right on. Yeah, the chocolate is healing for the soul for sure. I'm just popping into the book here. Now, a big thing about this virus too is the lungs, something to do with the lungs. Now, a really good herb and that I've got in the book here is mullein. Mulleine's really good for the lungs. So in the book, my second book, I have information what's good for the lungs if it's a bleeding, congestion, hemorrhaging, inflammation, mucus. So when you're using the herbs and mulleins in there under the mucus part, and you can get mullein in a tea. So if we are able to do something like that to help support our lungs, in the meantime, if we're really nervous, then you're doing something proactive.
Yeah.
And going, okay, I know this is going into my energy field. I'm knowing this is going into my body on a cellular level. It makes a huge difference in how we view our health too.
Well, we're also getting into cold and flu season. Like I know that many schools, they have some kids are staying at home, but it is cold and flu season. Yeah. So to strengthen your immune system, to have that tea, even if you have just a common cold, and a lot of colds will like really rest in our chests, and it can be really hard to function. And then you have the anxiety that, oh my God, I'm sick, I have COVID. Yeah. So then that anxiety decreases our immunity, lowers our vibration, and we get really sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Essential oils are awesome too, like the Thieves formula. And we can make our own combinations too. Your cloves, your eucalyptus, all sorts of stuff. There's stuff that's really good for the lungs and to keep them clear and make them stronger.
Yep.
So yeah, there was a lady that came into the store, and I like huge high five. Everybody's coming in and getting masks and sanitizer and all these toxic things for the school that they're asking for. And this beautiful lady came in to look for zinc lozenges for her children because she knew they needed the zinc to keep their immune system up. But she also uses essential oils with them. So we know, that positive attitude has a huge impact for her, which is knowing that her kids are going to be a lot safer going to school.
Yeah.
And
And it's a hard time to be a parent, and it's a hard time to be trying to be a contributing member of society when we are embraced in such fear.
Yeah.
But I like how you've brought it down to, zinc readily available, vitamin C. Oh, well, you can get that anywhere.
Where?
Right?
Yeah.
You can go down to the corner store, and usually they will have vitamin C, whether it be in that tablet or whether it be in a lozenge, right?
Yeah.
Easy things that people can do to strengthen themselves, raise that vibration. You feel better. You feel more in control of your own body so that you can move forward. You're not in the grips of fear.
That's right too.
Mm-hmm.
It works out really good. Another thing that just popped into my mind, and you're into using crystals. And what popped into my mind too was crystals have been a big thing of what I do at home and for myself. And I finally got working with my selenite wand again. This guy was, I think, 3 times longer the other night, and I had on my lap and sat up and it broke on the floor. But I love the selenite, and that's okay. It gave me a smaller wand, and I love to work with the selenite because of the way it clears the energy. Now, for all these kids that are going to school and with the anxiety and that, crystals in their pocket is a beautiful way to help the kids out energetically, but also letting the kids know that there's support. They have support with them in that pocket to help them through the day. So what I found.
I was going to say, my daughter wears like a sleeve of crystal bracelets that different people have given her, and they all have very different different functions and meanings to her. But she wears them religiously, and she will shift the arms, and she's got this system down. It's so easy to add that added protection, right? Like I have a selenite ball.
Oh, I love those. Yeah.
It's tiny. It's smooth because selenite itself can be quite rough, and you can end up with the selenite fibers.
Yeah.
But that selenite can be so supportive, and you can, I tell my female clients, you can just tuck it right into your bra if it's that smooth finish, right?
Yeah.
It's such an easy thing to carry with you.
Yeah, and I got a friend made me a bracelet with selenite tourmaline in it. And I wear that when I'm at work. And I have another one with shungite in it because I'm around electronic equipment all the time.
Yep.
So, and for the kids, blue kyanite is phenomenal. Especially the empathic ones, the ones that are having a really hard time. What it does is it sort of puts a bit of a cloak on them, and then it helps to keep their energy cleared, and by the time they get home, they're okay, instead of bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
And crystals like that also help out too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat to learn about all the stuff, how we can help ourselves, help our children out between the crystals, the essential oils, vitamins and minerals, keeping our kids connected to the other realms and supporting them if they come home and they say, "Oh, Grandma, I saw a dragon." I go, "High five, girl." You saw it? Thank you for telling me. My granddaughter, when she was 2, 3 years old, I had her in a grocery cart, and she points to the side and she goes, "Grandma, there's an angel beside you." And I burst in tears. And I thanked her so much for telling me. And then she would see fairies around her auntie.
Yeah.
So, and we need to support those kids and be there for them. And when they see these things, go, "Hey, high five. What did you see? Share." And let them share all about it.
Yep. That's the one thing about this generation is that there's more of an acknowledgement that what we had to shut down for,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of time it was fear of persecution, but it was
Yeah.
also fear of what we were seeing, because no one was protecting us.
Yeah.
Yes, we were dancing with the fairies, but there is an alternative flip side to that that's darker and scarier, and nobody was protecting us. We are now protecting our children, whether it be through
Yes.
crystals, essential oils. Um, my favorite is my dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, if someone was to look at my house, it looks like it's like this kind of big dragon emporium. There's dragons everywhere.
Oh, right on.
But we're protecting them more so that they can experience that positive,
Yeah.
that belief, right?
Yeah.
I usually say, yes, you can see that, but I want you to be careful, because sometimes, the fairies, they like to play. We need to focus in on schoolwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that balance you have
That's
to have,
true too.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like with children that have really bad nightmares at night and can't sleep at all. You can also put a sign on their wall saying no visitors after 7 p.m.
Yep.
You put that inside their bedroom wall and say no visitors after 7 p.m. That child's able to sleep really a lot better. Or if they're having really bad dreams, amethyst and selenite in a pouch in their pillow will help decrease the bad dreams. And I know that because a friend shared that with me. And my bad dreams just totally went down. I hardly ever get them anymore.
Well, and you can also encourage them. My son calls in Archangel Michael every night.
Yeah.
And he just asks him to stay with him. And of course,
sweet.
he does.
Yeah.
It is really weird when you go to check on your son. There's an archangel's kind of like, he's good. He stays.
Right on. Right on. Oh, sweet. Oh,
But
sweet.
that's the greatest part, right? There's so much more being open to not only us, our children, but for all to embrace and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Yeah.
and taking that time to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's for sure. And yeah, it's a beautiful adventure. I remember first time I did a house clearing, I was shaking in my shorts. I had tons of soda light in my pocket and calling the angels in and sending them to the house and praying to God I was doing the right thing. And yeah, we were able to look after what we needed to look after. But then what was really sweet was that the people lived in the house said within about 2-3 minutes of my phone calls, the angels came flying in. I thought, sweet potato, because it wasn't just my imagination, and they're all there for us to help out.
It's hard to remember to ask sometimes, though.
Yeah, yeah, and to trust. And sometimes I find people have pushed their guides or angels away because they've lost faith, and we've got to build that faith and trust up again. And as soon as we do that and call them back in, they're right there. They're waiting to work with us.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And
it's
those
fantastic.
children, yeah, and those children of ours and grandchildren, they're amazing little healers. And I'm so glad they're coming into a much better world where they're going to get that support that you and I didn't get when we were little.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Kim, I have missed you so much. It is so fantastic to see you again. I can't wait to get back into markets and to connect in with people on the physical plane rather than just the technological or astral planes.
Yeah.
It's been so great to see you.
Oh, and you too. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing with the world your beautiful light and everything that you do, because we are really blessed, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Kim. You're going to make me cry. I don't want to cry.
Okay, I am.
Okay. Well, you take care. And I will have your information in the description box below. So where they can get your books, where they can connect in with you. And should they have any questions, they can email me, they can email you. We're here and ready to help.
Oh, sweet. Thank you very much, sweetheart. Have a magical day.
You too.
Okay.
Oh, thank you guys so very much for joining me today. And I thank Kim for taking the time and sharing some of her amazing stories with us. I know she said in her history that she started in the year 2000. Well, it was in this lifetime that she started in the year 2000. She has so much to give and is such a phenomenal person. I can't wait till her fourth book. It's going to be fantastic. Like I said earlier, I will have links below to Kim and her amazing books and also to her website. So should you need a property healing or property clearing, a healing, and you want to reach out, you'll be able to do that. I also have, of course, links below to my contact details. So if you're looking for a healing or some support, you'll be able to reach out and connect in with me. I want to thank you guys so very much for taking the time and watching this video. And I can't wait to introduce you to another friend of mine in October. I don't know who that's going to be. If you have any suggestions or requests, please don't hesitate to send that in or comment below on who it is you would like and what area. It's going to be October, so that veil is going to be thinner. So who knows, maybe I'll be able to get somebody who can help with that connection. We'll have to wait and see who comes forward and what happens for October. Again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow, my friends.